Ariel Helwani for JerryPark.com, being joined by the victorious Nick Diaz. And Nick, first off, congratulations on a very impressive victory. Were you expecting the fight to go that easily for you tonight?
Who said it was easy, you know? It took a lot of, easier said than done.
We know how disappointing the KJ Noons loss was to you. Do you feel as though you finally put that past you and have now kind of reestablished yourself in MMA?
I didn't feel like that was a loss, you know? That's the doctor's fault. You know what I mean? They never would have stopped that fight in Vegas, so whatever. You know what I mean? And that guy is trying to box or whatever he can, and he's not doing a good job. I fight the guy in a pro boxing match. Of course, I don't think they pay me enough money versus these MMA fights that they're paying right now. A little more money, I think, for me to be fighting. So I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to have to say farewell to that, I suppose. And but whatever, you know. No hard feelings. I don't feel like he won. I never did. So people try to talk like, oh, you know, you did this and then I'm like, what the fuck do you know? You're a fighter, you know. So, but you know, this fight though, you know, I feel like, you know, I could have finished this fight on the ground with a submission, but sometimes it's a little bit easier not try, you know, just to throw punches, and it's more of a sure thing if you do the damage in the rounds. You know, you don't get that submission, the guy gets up. At least you put in that damage for the next round. So sometimes it's a little smarter way to go. But my coach fought him before. Cesar Gracie fought him before. And, you know, if I had gotten to the ground, which could have happened very easily, you know, Frank never would have won that fight. And I don't think I ever would have ended up with this fight. So I'm very grateful for my coach. And I don't put too much thought into it. You know, I put more into my training. And then, you know, most people are doing a lot of interviews and build up and stuff, and that's how I know that they're not training for me, because I know that I wouldn't have time to do that. There's, you know, too much stress involved in trying to make it to your next chance. You got to make sleep, you got to make training 3 times a day. You can't be missing 1 or 2 days. I'm gonna have that up on you, and you can't do that. Every day is gonna count. So I put a lot of hard work in. People don't understand that.
All right, well, it's a big night for Nick Diaz. A very impressive performance against Frank Shamrock tonight. Great stuff, and congratulations on the victory.
I just opened a school in Lodi on 230 School Street, right on the corner of Lodi Avenue and School Street, across from Lions Restaurant. So if you want to come and train in jiu-jitsu with me, I'm with Cesar Gracie's jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts training there. So
we've heard some rumors that you will be fighting Sakurai next. Is that in fact true?
I believe so. I think so. If everything goes right, you know, and they don't back out of the fight like last time, we should be fighting.
Will your Strikeforce title be on the line?
I know it's just a dream fight. It's a completely different sport as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's in a ring and much more closer to real fighting as far as I'm concerned. You know.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's a cage fighting. You know, it's a ball game. It's the cage game over there. It's a fight game. That's the way I see it. You know, you know. It kind of favors the more technical fighter and brings out the more technical aspect in the sport. You can't really stall. They'll take your money. You have to fight. So, you know, I think it favors the more technical, well-versed mixed martial artists. So,
do you prefer fighting over there?
You know, I don't you know, put my faith in you know, chance. You know, like you know, if I'm feeling good, and you know, chances are, you know. And you know, chances are my mental state's gonna go good and everything's gonna go good. I know my mental state's gonna be fine because I know I'm gonna know what to do. I know, you know, action, reaction. You know, I do this. This guy's gonna do this. I'm gonna have to do this. He's gonna have to do that to counter. And if he don't have the next thing there for me, then I'm gonna walk all over him. So, you know, I'm gonna be able to go do it like that.
Final question. I just want to ask you. Late last month, George St. Pierre defeated Dan Hardy. You were there cornering your brother, and a lot of people weren't happy with that fight, and they're saying, you know, the guy at 170 who will give GSP a fight is Nick Diaz. Unfortunately, he fights for Strikeforce. What do you make? I mean, is this a fight that you feel that you need to, it needs to happen regardless, and you would like to do whatever it takes to make that fight happen?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, George. What do you say? You know, I'm saying, you know, if I was him, I'd stand up and say something. I'd be like, hey, you know, let's you know, make this happen or whatever, you know.
That is the fight you would love to happen, right?
Yeah, but you know, like, regardless, like, I'm the, you know, he's not talking like he wants to fight me, but I'm the only guy that's you know, people are talking about for that fight, and so it's just like, you know, everybody acts like that's like not even a possibility or something. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's not a possibility because, you know, this guy doesn't want to stand up and fight me. He said, fight me. I said, hey, look, you know, I want to fight anybody I can that people are talking good about, you know. I don't care if it's even a heavier weight or what, but, you know, I want to fight the best fighters there are out there. And, you know, I think, you know, I just think that we should get this thing going. You know what I'm saying? If this guy stands up in the middle of the cage after he wins a fight and says, hey, I want to fight Nick Diaz, I'll hop the cage and I'll get up in this face and I say, what's up? Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? But if I said something like that, I don't think he'd get up out of his seat. You know, I think he'd just sit there. So, you know, otherwise this fight would happen. So, you know what I mean? Otherwise this fight would happen. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we get this show on the road. You know, if this guy was down to fight me, but I don't think he's down to fight me, you know?
This guy being GSP.
Yeah, right? You know?
Nick, explain what happened after the Jake Shields fight.
I don't know. Miller, he just kind of appeared all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Done a great job with the team at Stanford MMA.
It's just kind of, I don't know. Everybody just kind of reacted, you know? I don't know what happened.
Did you know?
I honestly don't know what happened. I don't know what, you know. People are like, oh, you did this or that. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see it. That all happened real quick. So, but it makes me really angry, you know, because I just see my you know, my partner, you know, he really pushed this one out, you know, and you know, he really pulled through for us, you know, and won that fight, you know. He fought hard, and then this guy's gonna get up in his, you know. I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? It's like my brother, you know. So you know, that just made me really angry. You know what I mean? This guy just went. He already went to battle. Now his job's done. So if anybody's gonna, you know, if anybody's gonna be fighting now, it's definitely not gonna be him. We're standing right there. Everybody's standing right there. But I don't know what happened. Like I said, you know, I just I would want my partners to have my back, you know. So I got their back, you know, and.
Do you regret anything that transpired afterwards?
I don't know what happened. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know what happened. All I know is I'm in a giant grappling, people hitting me. I get a giant knot on the back of my head right now. So like I said, I don't know. I'm like, someone hit me in there. I don't even know what happened. After I got hit with something, somebody hit me and I'm just angry. And everybody's kind of fighting a little bit, you know. I stopped. John grabbed me and then I stopped. I'm like, all right, John, I ain't fighting as long as you don't let these people hit on me. You know, all on the ground here, because I'm like, people are holding me and then other people are hitting me. So, but that's all I know. That's all I remember that happened.
Finally, anything you want to say to the people? Just because the lasting image on CBS was, you know, sort of overshadowed a bit what happened.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, I apologize. It wasn't my fault. You know, I got my boys back. You know, you bring me, you know, you bring me in a corner, my partner. You know, I expect the same from my corner. You know, I'm like, I just fought. Somebody better, you know, keep me from getting, you know, cold caught with some hot one real quick, you know, from the side or whatever. So, you know, that's just what everybody reacted. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm like, you know, I wasn't headhunting out there. I was just going, and then everybody's fighting. I'm just protecting myself and my partner. So that's all I know. But I apologize. You know.
What about now? Is that something that still bothers you?
I'm just happy that you know, KJ took the fight, and you know, I didn't feel like he was going to take the fight a long time ago, and I'm just happy that, you know, he's here to fight now. And you know, I'm just happy to be here to represent my team and Cesar Gracie, and you know, that's that. It was kind of hard for me. I don't want to say it was hard. I had good training for that fight. But you know, it's kind of discouraging to fight somebody that's nobody knows who they are and stuff like that. I'd rather fight Fedor, you know, and you don't really want to lose to a guy that nobody's heard of, you know. Not that I didn't think he wasn't good, you know. I knew that it was going to be kind of a mess in there, and sure enough, it was. You know, I don't look at it like, you know, I don't look at it like I love to fight, you know. I look at it more like I have to fight, you know, because if there was any quit in this game, from the beginning, I wouldn't have made it this far, you know. So It's just kind of my life is to fight. And that's what I've dedicated it to. So there's not really much off time. I've got a lot of teammates to worry about. A lot of times I'm worrying about them a lot more than myself. And then that helps, take me through my fights. Before you know it, I'm trained up on account of these guys. And then I just kind of sharpen up for my fight. And some people say things like, I don't know why you'd want to live his life that way. But, it kind of enhances my sense of security. And that's just how I go.
Nick, Dana White said, you don't play the game. Then the video came out this week and you said you're ready to play the game. Just write down the job description and whatnot. Are you kind of hinting to going over to the UFC?
I'm sorry. Like I said, no disrespect or anything, but I feel that I would win the jiu-jitsu match, I mean, if it was a jiu-jitsu match, I won on the points. With the guard pass and everything. So, we got some jiu-jitsu people out here. Just why not? No, so I'll tell you what, I didn't, Kunin, she came in, and she shook my hand before the fight. And, she had her hands wrapped already, and I'm going, isn't she coming out before me? And I was going, I should probably already be wrapped right now. So it was not going good whatsoever. I had a really late warm-up, and, not that I didn't have a really good corner with me, but we were just kind of relaxing a little bit too much back there. So I was really in a hurry to get I was Josh Thompson's fighting. I'm being wrapped, and I'm like, oh my God, no! I'm just going like, please don't get knocked out. I'm rooting for Josh. Like, come on, Josh, don't tap out or So I feel like I'm getting a little bit more respect than I used to. People aren't making such a joke out of me anymore, and it feels great.
Do you feel as though you still have some doubters, to prove wrong?
I think there's just people out there that don't really like me very much.
Why?
But I was for whatever, it's it's NorCal. Sorry, NorCal. It's a lot of the people who are out there talking, they're coming out of the other side. They're coming from Southern California. And we have better fighters out here. That's all there is to it. There's better fighters out here in Northern California. And everybody, that's just, even in jiu-jitsu tournaments, growing up as a kid, I'd go to jiu-jitsu tournaments, and then, we would think we were in for, I'd go to a purple belt division, smoke everybody like they were blue belts, and then I'd come back here and have a rough time in a tournament out here. They just have better jiu-jitsu out here, and there's just better training out here. People are more real about things, are more hardcore. It's really, it's just, I feel like it's about show, it's really for show out towards that way. And I feel like everybody who's talking about me and has all this negativity towards me, they're not coming from where I'm from. These people, nobody hears anything from anybody where I'm from. So that's why you hear so much negativity about me.
Nick, good to see you again. A lot of people are very excited for this fight. How are you feeling in the days leading up to it?
I'm all right. I wasn't going to do this interview, but they told me I had to. So, I feel good. I'm ready to fight. And I don't know. I don't have much to say.
Something against me? Do you not like me, Nick?
I feel like you instigate fights quite a bit, but that's
fights between the fighters.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's your job, but where I come from, people like that get slapped. These fights, they fight me too much. I'm most overworked, overtrained, underpaid. Fighter. That's what I feel, anyways. I do get paid well as an MMA fighter, but this isn't boxing, and I think we should get paid like this is boxing. I hear about people like George getting paid way more than me, and then Manny Pacquiao and people professional boxers getting paid that much money. I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore, because I feel like I get paid way too much money, but not enough. And I'm more than happy with that. I can live with that. You know what I mean? I live in Stockton. I don't need much, so. But I'm here to fight. I'm not afraid to fight.
There seems to be a lot of mutual respect between you and Paul. A lot of people, when this fight was announced, thought there would be some trash talking, but he said very nice things about you, and you seem to have respect for him. Is that the case?
Well, you're the only one that started any talking about this fight. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're the one saying, "Oh, he says he's gonna, will do this to you and that to you." I was giving an analogy about how I thought the fight might go if it in my favor if it did, And then you're saying I made these statements to him, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll knock Nick Diaz out or something." And all I say now is like, right, he says he's gonna knock me out, but all I say is that's the only way he can win. So, there's not much to say. There's no mutual respect. What, he's not talking to, I'm not talking to, why would I have anything, talk bad about him? I hope he don't hit me with the cheap shot, but I understand, what it feels like to be held down for 3 rounds and it just don't feel like this guy is avoiding the fight now. You know what I mean? He's avoiding the fight. And he wins the fight. So the guy who doesn't fight gets to win. So on account of this rules and scoring criteria that we've developed, and we used to have a whole other organization called Pride with different rules, and I think it worked out way more, for exciting fights, and you get to see a lot more technical aspect come out in the fight. You get to see, a guy. You get yellow carded if he holds the guy. So it forces him, to punch the guy. He can't just elbow the guy because he has to create some space to punch, So he can't just hold the guy and cheat with little bumping the guy with little elbows. He has to create an amount of space, away from this guy to punch down on him. That space that he needs to make before he gets yellow carded is the same space I might be trying to make so that I can get my ass back up and fight this guy when he's not trying to fight me. So he should be carded for stalling. And, we've got this whole system going on here, and everybody's, bought up the other organization and thrown it away, try to hide it. And it's just wrong, I feel like the Japanese, they kind of knew how the martial arts went and how it should be. And the more technical, martial artist or wrestler or boxer, and the best man's going to win, by these old rules, is the way I feel. I feel like, it favors the more technical boxer and martial artists, and all this UFC and the cage fighting nowadays, it's always been geared towards the wrestler. It's always been geared towards the wrestler. I knew that, and then as soon as I started fighting the UFC, I knew I needed to really pick it up and start playing that game, and learn how to fight like that, because I'm winning. I can go out there and do damage and win on damage and lose a fight, but I got to win on this criteria, So, I won fights on the past and damage in my own mind, in my eyes, in their eyes, but in the judge's eyes, the other guy won. But when I went home, and they went home, they know who really won the fight. You know what I mean? So,
was that how you thought the fight would actually play out?
Yeah. If it were to go in my favor, this is what I said before. So yeah, that's what I wasn't talking no shit to start. That's just what I said would happen. If I win a fight, that's what's gonna happen, right? That's what happened. So it's a done deal. I need a vacation anyways. They fight me too much. I'm not gonna be the one to back out of these fights. Nobody gives about me. They're over here throwing me in a fight after fight after fight. They're like, "Oh, this guy will knock him out. We'll get rid of him like that." You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to find some other way. You know what I mean?
I actually heard last week you competed in a triathlon, correct? Are you going to look to maybe take some time?
My friend Paul beat me. I got a mountain biking, and he started training up. And, he became a really good mountain biker, so I thought I'd be fine if I just, had a good swim and kept ahead of him on the bike course. And then he comes running up the hills and passed me. And, that was kind of hard to deal with. So I already kind of went through like a loss in a way.
Maybe that motivated you for this.
I think it just kind of, I don't know. It did something, but but that got me in shape, and I'm feeling good for the whole season here, and
what's your next triathlon?
Good time. This fight and the last fight, this is for me. I mean, right now this year, it's just probably I haven't been at my best. This isn't fair. If you call that a fair fight, I know people think that's a fair fight. That wasn't a fair fight. I just fought. I kicked up in the leg. I go out there. What's the guy do? He tries to kick me right in my leg, And that's not a fair fight, man, And my other fight before that wasn't a fair fight. None of these have been, you know what I mean? I got people out to get me, and I had a good training for a KG Noons fight, and that still was, I didn't have but a month to train for that fight, and I wasn't sure if that fight was going to go through or not. Just like every fight, I'm fighting blind opponents. I don't know who it's going to be, who I'm fighting, or if I'm really fighting them. And then on top of that, in the last 2 weeks, there's like all this indecisiveness on whether or not they're going to pull out. People are like, oh, we don't know if we should tell him or, keep him training and all that, And I've never had a real training. Like everybody caters to somebody that are having some fight that's really big and important. I'm like, what fight is more important than this? But nobody really gives a shit. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh, hey, you're fighting again in 2 weeks. So, I'm like, lucky I already trained my ass myself, and people, and it's not like I got like some bandwagon behind me kicking me, I'm lucky I'm trying to help my partners out, and that's why I'm in shape, you know what I mean? So, extra credit work, I train hard in the gym, and nobody wants to come out to Stockton, California. It's not a bad place, really. Half of it's kind of on the harsh side, and I'm trying to stick to my side. And then
I was here for your fight with Frank.
Yeah, it's nice. So it's not too bad over there, and that's kind of it's downtown there where the fight was. But you know what I mean? It's nobody really. There's not much going on out there, so people don't really want to come out there. I like it because that's where I grew up, and then it's an hour from everything. I can drive to Sacramento, and
I'm telling you, I'm gonna stay champion for a long time.
Know your enemy. Prepare mentally.
Oh, huge knee by Ortega.
Brian Ortega is a problem for everyone.
They locked that cage. My goal is always to finish it.
Oh, that's it!
I'm gonna go after the champ, bring a war.
Hell is gonna break loose.
Welcome to the war.
Alexander the Great! Relentless, marauding style with legitimate knockout power. Truly, truly amazing.
Brian Ortega, this kid is a finisher.
Volkanovski, ready or not, I'm coming.
The cold-blooded assassin, Valentina Shevchenko.
She's a killer and a true champion.
Lauren Murphy, second longest active winning streak in the division.
That's a bad woman.
Nick Diaz!
This guy is as real as it gets. Some of the best boxing in MMA and world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
He wants to take your head off. 2 title fights. This card is amazing. I cannot wait.
Welcome to the war.
Welcome to the UFC 266 press conference from Las Vegas, Nevada. Inside the Park Theater. This Saturday, International Fight Week culminates with a colossal pay-per-view event. First up, a rematch. Knockout. Welcome, Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Lawler faces a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, one of the most revered fighters in all of combat sports. A former WEC and Strikeforce champion, returning for the first time in over 6 years. Welcome back, the Octagon legend, Stockton's own Nick Diaz. Moving on to the co-headliner for the undisputed UFC Flyweight Championship. Here is the challenger, a former Invicta champion, looking to shake up the MMA world by beating the bullet. Winner of 5 straight fights. This is Lucky Lauren Murphy. And her opponent, dominant at every level. She's owned the UFC flyweight division since its inception. Winner of 7 straight fights. Looking to defend her title for a record 6th straight time. One of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world today. This is Valentina Shevchenko. Moving on to the main event. It's a battle between elite featherweights. The challenge for the throne hails from California and brings with him a lethal finishing ability that has put him on the doorstep of UFC gold. Riding the Zombie. T-City Ortega. And finally, one of the best fighters in the world today, an Australian champion who has run the featherweight division for nearly 2 years, holding wins over men. Defending 145-pound UFC champion, Alexander the Great Volkanovski.
What's up, Vegas? How are you? Thanks for coming out today. We appreciate it. John Morgan, where you at?
Oh, here, guys. No disrespect to the champions, but Nick, I know a lot of people are here to see you and very excited that you're back. So I want to start with you. Look, Nick, I know you have kind of a love-hate relationship with Fight Week, but I do wonder how you feel right now, with the crowd in front of you, all the support that you're getting right now. Does this feel at least a moment that you can enjoy?
Yeah, no, I feel good. I feel real good. See everybody.
Thanks, Nick. And, we found out earlier this week it's going to be a middleweight fight instead of a welterweight fight. So I'm just curious, tactically, strategically, does that favor one person or the other? Do you think that changes this fight at all, the change in the weight class?
No, I think it just makes it a little smoother. Smoother ride.
Yep. Fair enough. And last thing, Nick, that I wanted to ask for you. As you sit here, is this something that you see, like, I want to keep doing this? I know you probably want to see how things go on Saturday and how you feel afterwards, but is this something you say, I can't wait for this to be over and never do it again? Or are you saying, no, I'm happy I'm back and, seeing the support of the crowd, I want to do this more often?
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely want to do this more often. Especially if I get my ass whooped. If I get my ass whooped, I'm going to come back right away. If I get my ass whooped, I come right back.
Thank you, Nick. Alex, I want to ask you, we talked to Brian yesterday, and he said, listen, if you guys weren't rivals, if you weren't fighting, he thinks you could be good acquaintances. So I'm curious, after this is over, do you think you can sit down and have a pint and be a good acquaintance, or is this going to go beyond this fight?
To be honest, I would have to be pretty drunk to get along with him, I think. I'll be honest again, obviously I'm known to be respectful, but, there's just things that annoy me, and that's that. So, everything, every word that comes out of his mouth annoys me now. So, yeah, probably not.
And Alex, to follow up, I know you're kind of looking still for respect as champ, right? I think people kind of doubt you sometimes. So, do you think winning this fight by any means, whether it be 5 rounds, you'll get that? Or do you feel like you got to go out there and finish this guy to maybe earn that respect as champion that you may be lacking right now?
Mate, I want to get that finish. We say that every time, but I'm doing what I can to get that finish. You know what I mean? Right now, winning's not enough. And then obviously doing the whole Ultimate Fighter with Ortega and making it a bit more personal. Obviously going out there and getting the finish would mean so much more. So that's definitely what I'm looking for. I'm going to be pushing, put that pace, crumble him, and get the finish.
Thank you, Alex. And Brian, I did want to ask you as well. Obviously this fight was supposed to take place earlier this year. You got to spend a lot of time around him, scouting him, getting to feel him out. I'm curious, did you learn anything from that time? Any weaknesses that you might be able to exploit or anything that you changed from then until now?
No, man, nothing's changed. From the beginning camp to the second camp, nothing's changed. All I got to see him a little bit longer than I wanted to, but that's about it.
Thanks, Brian. And Dana, just 2 quick ones for you, if I could, please. We know that Nasrat and Hooker are on their way here, I guess, right now. Do you have any updates on kind of their status? And also, if there will be any kind of weight concessions or anything, it seems like it's going to be tough for them to make weight.
Yeah, making fights and getting fights to happen when they're supposed to is tough enough. And then you look at the last couple of years, we've had visas, borders closing down, COVID, and all that type of stuff to deal with. Makes it obviously tougher. But these guys are both absolute studs. If anybody knows the backstory, one of their moms just died. He flew home for the funeral, then turned around and came right back, had visa issues that we had to fix. And same thing with Hooker. These guys are going to land today. They both want to fight on Saturday, and neither has asked for a weight. They're both going to make weight according to them. So, those are the type of people that are in this sport, and it's why people love the sport so much. And, incredible, unique individuals is all I can say.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
And Danny, just one last one. We spoke to Alex and Brian yesterday, and they both said, hey, listen, regardless of who wins, they both kind of look at Max Holloway as still being a number one contender right now. So I'm curious if you could give us an update on Max, what, kind of where he's standing. Do you view him as the number one contender for whoever comes out of this fight?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, you got the champ, and then the top 4 guys in that division are all bad dudes. From Max, obviously, the zombie Yair Rodriguez. I mean, there's a lot of tough guys there. So timing and all the other bullshit that I just mentioned 2 minutes ago will play a factor in who fights next. So we'll see how it plays out.
Question for Robbie.
Go ahead, Shmo.
All right, question for Nick Diaz. In the time you've been out of the octagon, your younger brother, Nate Diaz, he's turned into one of the biggest stars inside the UFC. As an older brother, how does that make you feel?
Proud. I tried to pave the way, set it up that way. I didn't expect to drag so hard. Coming back's been, it's been kind of a mission. But I've done all the work my whole life, so I've got fights left, and I'm in pretty good shape. So
you look good. Question for the champ, Volkanovski. You started the Ultimate Fighter 0-4. After that, the tides changed. What kind of behavioral changes did you notice in Ortega to give you the confidence for Saturday evening?
I've seen a lot of changes. He was, when he's with his boys, or when his confidence is up, he's up perking his chest and all that type of stuff. As soon as things went downhill for him, he was quiet. He didn't have much to say. So that's why I told him. I told him, keep that same energy. If things turn around, keep that same energy. He didn't. So that's it. But I see a lot of holes. I see, just from every time I spend time with him, I see weakness. Every time. Every time I even talk to the bloke.
Final question for Lucky Lauren Murphy. You're going up against the champion, Valentina Shevchenko. She's never lost in this weight division. You're here for a reason. You're used to the underdog role. You're plus 1,700. Why is Saturday night going to be different for you?
Different than what? I've been winning all the way up to this point. It's not going to be any different than what I've been doing to get here.
Why is it going to be different for the champ Valentina? I messed up.
She hasn't faced anybody like me. I'm tough. I'm mean as fuck. I'm not afraid of her, and I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks.
Go ahead, Kevin. Somebody else, whoever's up next, go.
Okay, my question is for Nick, or is he going or not? Nick Diaz, my question for you. Just one question is, since you last fought, your brother has become a star in the UFC, headlined a show at Madison Square Garden, has had many memorable fights. You've always been the general of the Nick Diaz army. Do you think he's kind of taken that position over now, and he's the head of the family and kind of the head of the fighting group?
Yeah, sure he has. I'm working on leveling up with them a little bit, as far as I got to fight, and regardless, win or lose, I got to fight, and then I can help the kids and get everybody training, help train these guys.
Questions for Robbie back here, all the way in the back, right here. Right.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I know a lot of questions have been, will this fight happen or not, especially after yesterday. But now that you actually see Nick right there on the stage with you, has your attitude changed at all towards him and this fight? Or are you just still thinking about the fight?
It's just business as usual. Just focusing on the task at hand. Nick's a hell of an opponent, so I had to make sure my training camp went really well, and that's what I focus on, what I need to do, and everything I can handle. I've done it, so I'm ready to go.
And one for Nick. You have two teammates on this card. Nick, up back here. You have two teammates on this card that a lot of fight fans might not know. So for fans who don't know anything about Martin or Maximov, what can they expect when they fight?
Yeah, I mean, Maximo, he's a strong kid. He's got a lot of potential. I see him going far in the sport. Yeah, with his skill set, I don't think anybody's gonna match that. He's a strong kid.
Then one last one for Valentina back here. You've obviously faced the best of the best at flyweight. Is there one thing that Lauren Murphy does? Valentina, right? You've obviously faced the best of the best at flyweight, but is there one thing that you see from Lauren's game that she does better than your previous opponents?
I always say, there is no similar fight games. There is no similar people that fight in the same style. Always unique. Everyone is unique. They have all different fight style. Lauren has her fight style, but it doesn't mean I don't have approach to her style. I have approach to her. I know what I have to do, and I just will do it to take my belt home, and that's it.
Hey, Nick, right down here on your left, over here in front. It's all good, bro. Nick, when people say this is the people's main event, Diaz versus Lawler 2, what does that mean to you?
That's great. I'm glad they feel that way.
Valentina, for you, people keep talking about what keeps her motivated, what keeps her performing at such a high level for so long. What's your answer?
I was answering is all week long. What is my motivation? Martial arts is my motivation. Be part of UFC, it's my motivation. Compete in the high level of through all fighters who's the highest level in the world. This is my motivation. What can be else?
Then for Dana, you got the Hall of Fame. You've got fan signings all week. Would you say finally 100% for the UFC? It's wide back open after pushing for so long.
Yeah, I mean, we're wide open in certain states. There's other countries that we still can't go to, but at least now people can move around. The United States, and New York's a big one. The fact that we're getting into New York, and if we can get in there and pull this thing off without anything going wrong over there, we're on our way. I'd say we're on our way. Yeah.
If you were a fan and you were one of the people like the rest of us, which fan event would you be at this week?
If I was a fan, where would I be?
Which one of the events?
Fight.
Yeah.
Hi, Ben Baudouin from RDS in Montreal. Quick question for Nick. Your ESPN interview yesterday was pretty interesting and worrisome in some way. Do you stand by everything you said? Are you still maybe scared to go in the octagon? Not really motivated by this fight?
Oh no, I never. I didn't. I don't know if you took it through. I don't know if I don't feel like I meant to say it like the way you said it. That was it was different.
Is your head in the right place?
I didn't. There was a few things the way this fight got set up, or lined up, and I mean, either way, it doesn't make a difference. When I get someone in front of me, I seem to be right back. I've always trained with the best, and I've always held my own with the best. So it's just I didn't expect at this age to catch so much heat and so much expectation from everybody. It's kind of hard to. Before I was used to just, saying hi and being happy with everybody. And then now all of a sudden I'm going like, whoa, hey, wait, oh, thank you. Yeah. So that's all, I wasn't ready for all of the extra attention or tension and attention.
At least you got a lot of support. Robbie, can you react on that? What was your reaction when you heard this interview yesterday? Did you see it?
Same reaction I always have. Like business as usual. I gotta focus on what I need to focus on, which is a fight. I can't be watching everyone else's stuff, trying to figure out what they're saying and what's going on in their head. I need to focus on what I gotta do, which is get ready for this fight, make sure I'm in tip-top shape, and that's it.
And the last one for Dana, about the Hall of Fame induction tonight. George St. Pierre is going to be inducted. What did he mean for this company and for the sport of MMA overall?
Yeah, you know, obviously the timing was everything. We were heading into Canada and getting sanctioned in all the different provinces there, and he became a huge star for us, broke tons of records, and that whole time period of George St. Pierre and opening Canada was a very massive part of the history of the sport and a very fun time for me, my staff, and obviously the fans. So he's one of the greatest human beings on the planet. So very happy for him and proud to induct him into the Hall of Fame. Go ahead, brother.
Question for Alex. Alex, you spent the Ultimate Fighter series next to Brian. I'm curious, what is the biggest thing you learned about him during that experience?
To be honest, well, obviously I'm professional. I've said it all week. I'm professional and weakness. You know what I mean? That's and what upsets me the most is I'm professional. I put the hard yards in my whole life, especially in this career. That's how I got this belt. And he half-assed it, turns up training late. You know, I mean, you name it. I just see weakness. You know, I'm professional. Obviously, showing weakness. Obviously, a few years back. Popping, producing, you know what I mean? Shit like that. That shit annoys me. It's not professional and I ain't about that shit.
And I'm curious for you, Brian, what is the biggest thing you learned about Alex during the Ultimate Fighter?
Not much.
Do you agree that you're unprofessional, or do you think he's way off?
I don't know. I think I see life through a different lens, you know. Some people like to be told what to do. I kind of live on my own time. As long as I get the job done, right? That's what matters to me.
Mate, ever since I got told you popped, I had no idea. Ever since I got told, that's it. I'm done. That shit doesn't stay with me. I'm over that shit.
You've been done, right? Don't do shit about it, though.
T-City over here. Does it bother you that this man feels that you shouldn't even be in the octagon with you, that he thinks that you're not on his level? How much does that fire you up to get the job done on Saturday night?
I'm already here. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to share the octagon with him, whether he likes it or not, whether he likes me or not. We're going to fucking fight.
He deserves to be here. He deserves to be here. I'll give him that. But he ain't taking the belt. You don't deserve it.
We'll see about that.
Have you envisioned about getting your name called and hearing and new and being that guy from the hood to represent on this big level? How much of a dream with the reality would that become?
I envision it all the time, man. I envision all the time. Someone that came up like I did and I had to go through the shit that I had to go through to get here and to keep working. I got my unprofessional ass over here, you know?
Next question for Valentina. If you get another dominant win on Saturday night, are you the most dominant champion in UFC across the board, in your opinion?
In my opinion. It's not depend on Saturday only, in my opinion, right? But I tell you that I'm all my fights, I'm getting ready very strong for this fight, and I know it's going to be a very good fight. I hope Lauren gonna bring everything that she has, because I don't want anything like more, nothing more. It's I gonna do for my job. I gonna go in there, like put best performance what I can do, try to find my finish as soon as I can, and take my belt back. That's it.
5 questions for Nick. Since we hadn't seen you in the octagon or have nothing to go about, what do you have to go on that you can beat Kamaru and get the belt at 170?
I think I'm a better fighter all around. If I can survive this fight, I got a hard fight, you know, with this guy. So if I can survive this fight, I don't see any reason why, you know.
So you gonna call him out if you win? You gonna call out Kamaru Usman on Saturday night?
I think it's already. I think that fight's already. Yeah. You know. And if I don't win, I'd like to see Robbie get the fight. You know.
And final questions for Lauren. How's it feel to be in this position with being such an underdog, and you find somebody where you need your personal best just to compete with them because they're at such a high level?
I believe my best is good enough to beat anybody in the world. And I love the position that I'm in. I get to climb the mountain. I'm going to walk through the fire. I get to shock the world. I have everything to gain in this fight. And I kind of feel bad for Valentina because it's like, if she looks even like less than superhuman for even a second in the fight, people are going to say, oh my God, Lauren Murphy of all people made you look human. That's a lot of pressure on the champ, you know? So I'm happy to be where I'm at.
Question for Nick Diaz. Nick, over here. This way. Nick, these people love you. Nick, the world loves you. You're an absolute legend. But earlier this week, you told ESPN, quote, I have a lot of resentment toward the sport for taking so much from me and not giving anything back. It's a fair question. What did the sport rob you of, and what does it still owe you?
You know what? I'm not knocking like the UFC, just maybe like the whole sport in general. Like, I think, yeah, it's just, I always fought like, you know, I had 3 to 5 fights a year for like 17 years or so. All I ever thought about was weight, you know, what am I going to eat? After a while, you realize there's more to life. And then, yeah, and then everybody, yeah, okay, buddy. And, yeah, you know, after a while, you realize there's more to life. And then everybody kind of like, you know, digs their heels into you when you're down. And it's kind of rough, you know, like, you know, it's nice to see a lot of support, like 2 weeks leading up to a fight. You know, but what about the last 5 years? You know, is kind of how I feel. Of course, I get a lot of highs and buys, and you know, I've done plenty of handshakes. I don't, you know, I'd like to take some of those back, but.
All right. Thank you, sir. Question for Valentina. Valentina, how long would it take for you and your sister to send Jake and Logan Paul to that place where time does not exist? How long would it take you guys to finish them?
0 seconds. It's not a question.
0 seconds?
Yeah, not even 1 second.
Спасибо.
Пожалуйста.
All right, I'm going to get this stuff out of here, square these guys off. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. See you Saturday night.
Time does not exist.
When you talk about the greatest featherweights of all time, the two names